Another year, another Dragon Ball Z game. But how does the new one stand up? Well, sit in your chair, turn up the volume, and find out. Might as well start with the point of biggest controversy, story mode. Reaction this year have been mixed to say the least. With only a total of 48 battles, the first reaction of most people is to curse it for being crappy. But is it really? To start our look into story mode to pass judgment on it, we'll start where DBZ did, the Saiyan Saga. Unlike in BT2, you just pick the fights you want to go to and not fly around the world. Now I know a lot of people will most likely comment on what I'm about to say is wrong, but in BT2 you basically did this anyway. There are very few times when there is anything else to fly around on the map, except a place to go level up, so there really isn't a change. So this is what a story fight in BT3 looks like. You have little scenes where your characters say their little bits, then you just fight. Also, various characters will make comments based on how the fight is progressing. Using certain attacks and combos will prompt these comments to appear, and it turns out to be a nice little touch in some of the larger fights.
Better when you beat Nappa! That smirk of yours is going to disappear very soon.
At certain points, a little R3 icon will appear in the middle of the screen. It's up to you if you want to push it or not, though. If you do, the game will shift to the next story event that happened, and the fight will continue on from there. If you don't, you can continue on with how things are currently.
I don't need this planet anymore. I'm going to demolish you and everyone else on Earth! There's absolutely no way you can stop my Gallic gun!
Something I was very glad they fixed was the change of only playing as the good guys. In certain story battles, such as Frieza versus, well, everyone before Goku showed up, they were getting beat up badly. I don't want to do a battle, beat up Frieza as, say, Krillin, then have it say I lost after I KO Frieza. If Krillin was supposed to lose, let me play as Frieza and beat him up. Another point of note is that your stats are fixed for story mode. I'm split on this one. I like story mode how it stays true now, but it's always fun to do things like fight Cell as Super Saiyan 3. Now this can make some fights too easy, but the attacks that ended fights show up as R3 commands. When activated, they do 1 damage short of 100,000. These are instant death attacks. It's a nice touch in that the fights will end as they should, but it gives you a win.
One-on-one. I'll keep training hard, and when the day comes, I'll be waiting.
Overall, I like this story mode. It might not have had as many fights as people were hoping for, but the little extras in them were a nice touch. Well,
see you later!
Like in the other games, Ultimate Battle is still there, except now there's a lot more to it.
Who will you challenge? We'll go on.
Sim Dragon is a little training simulator. You have 10 actions, either training, attack, defense, or both. Exploring the world to see if you can find anything, items, better training options, more fights for the 100 battles, etc. Rest, and finally a Senzu Bean. Each action will have some effect on either your stats, health, or score. There's a great deal of luck involved in this, as there is no way to know if your training will work or who you will meet. After the 10 actions are up, you fight, and if you earned enough points, you level up. The only thing leveling up does is increase the totals your attack and defense can go up to. Mission 100 is just that. Once you unlock all of them, there will be 100. Each battle has its own rules, and they will get harder the further down the list you go. If you want to do a quick fight to earn some cash, this is the place to do it. Survival is unlocked through clearing 30 of the Mission 100 battles. In this mode, you basically end up fighting 50 people in a row, getting a bar of health back after each one. Is it just my game, or does All-Star have no music for other people too? To me, this is the most annoying part of the game. The way the structure works simply aggravates me. Tournaments are only open for certain times and you can't pick the level you want to fight on. This wouldn't be nearly as bad, but you unlock plenty of stuff through these tournaments. Trying to get the right conditions takes too long. There really is no reason for it to work like this. Either let people pick or have them unlock the higher levels by clearing the lower ones. As I said previously, the graphics between BT2 and 3 are basically the same, but the presentation has improved greatly. Old attacks have been given new effects and the normal energy attacks have been made more diverse again by changing the basic blast look and making some completely different from the basic style. Not much to really say here except the game simply looks better. Now on to sound. Before I get into the voices and music, I will cover the sound effects. They added many more sound effects to attacks to give them more life and it really helps set the mood. It gives attacks that much needed sense of individuality too.
I'll kill you quickly. Struggle all you want. In the end, you'll still I'll send you to the next world with this.
Come on!
The Earth will be destroyed!
The ever controversial, for some reason, voices and music. There's an option for Japanese voices in the options, so that isn't a problem. So we are left with the music. I thought BT2 had a better score in general, but there is nothing that is really bad about this year's selection. And now the biggest part of any game, playing it. In a nutshell, it plays like BT2, only better, with new attack options, revamped combo structure, a whole lot more defensive moves and a faster pace. This is about as close to having a DBZ fight as you can find right now. The AI has also picked up a good increase in the eye department. So if you thought the second one was too easy, pick this one up and go fight Majin Vegeta on very hard. Another big point people have mentioned is lack of lock-on now. Now I personally never used this feature much in the game other than just a fight, but I don't see why they changed it. You start the fights locked on now, which is fine, but that's all they should have done. There's no reason why they should have taken out manual lock-on. A big worry about this game was the customizing options. Like the story mode, on the surface this system looks much more restricting than the last game, and in a way it is, but there is much more to this system than first meets the eye. First off, to gain more slots to use, instead of an item, you spend points to boost them. As I look back on BT2's system now, it seems as if most of the support items really didn't do much of anything. Of course a few did, but for the most part you just increased the stats of a character, most of the time with one of the items that boosted all the stats at once, and just used that. Here, support items are much more important to setups. Instead of just an overall strength boost from before, you need to have a goal in mind of what you want to do. Take for example boosting defense and lowering attack. With this setup here, only for good characters of course, you can have a rather prolonged fight compared to normal. Now if it sounds like I managed to contradict myself by saying this system can't make a character that is strong in everything, but is still better than BT2's, I will say this. In BT2 you basically had one setup, just different amounts you put into your stats. Here you have many different things you can do. Want to make a physical fighter? Increase attacks and throw on items that increase the power of rush attacks. Want to make fighting Vegeta even more annoying? Increase the strength of his normal energy attacks. Apart from normal items that just boost strength, there are also items that add things such as hyper armor and the ability to stun characters who you normally can't. Plus, instead of having 3 AI settings, you now have 15. With the correct combination between the items and the AI setting, you can make a pretty strong fighter. Finally, you now have 3 setups instead of just 1. On top of that, you now unlock items instead of having to get more than 1. Once you've unlocked an item, you can equip it on as many people as you want. So, agree with me or not, at least take the time to look through the items and see what you can come up with. That's pretty much it. There are still some other good improvements such as the menus, character selects, most rushes are unique now, more characters and replays, but that covers most of the important stuff. With that, there's only the grade left to give. And who's better to give it than the world champ himself?
Number